We are back in the shed, back on the Suzuki GT380. I was just looking at trying to get the sprocket cover on the other day. I did notice whether that'll come out on video or not. You can see in there some oil, a little bit of oil leak from somewhere. There, I think it's actually run down to there, so I don't think it's that seal there. Clutch push rod seal, looks okay, got a bit of grease around it, but I can't see any like running oil coming from there. So the only place I can think it's coming from behind the gear indicator switch there. So I'm going to have to strip that off and see what we can find. Really can't see anywhere else that could come from. Yeah, there's an O-ring on there. Perhaps that O-ring has gone. I didn't see that. If I can get some light in here and turn this round. Bit awkward at one end. Yeah, see there's an O-ring in there. So perhaps that is not very good. I'll give it a little clean up, put it back on and see if it stops dripping. If not, that's going to try and get a new O-ring from somewhere. Right, I just cleaned up that O-ring and that mating surface, just put that back in, and I've blown some air in to try and blow all the oil, or as much as the oil I can get out, and I'll just check that in a few days time, see if that's still dripping. So I think I'll be able to tell if that's any more oil built up in there. There's a little bit in the bottom there, but you can't really get it right in there to clean it. Yeah, I'll check it in a couple of days, and in the meantime I'll get a new O-ring on order for it, and hopefully that'll cure it. And of course the other problem I've got to solve is with this case, my sprocket cover. This has got or should have some rubber gaskets on the back here, one at the top, one at the bottom, to take up, it's about 5mm thick, where these spacers go in. I've made these spacers to the spec in the parts list. As you can see, when they're flush that end, when the bolt goes in, you've got this bit sticking out, which is where the rubber gasket would take up the space. Same with these ones here, and they're flush where they should be. They stick out there. There's those two which go in the bottom, and these two here. So I've been hunting and hunting, trying to find the rubber gaskets, which are no longer available, which is a bit of a pain, because it's not really the easiest thing to make. I did think about maybe getting some cork, making cork gaskets, but you know, you're talking such a thin thing to try and cut there. You know, that's going to be a bit of a problem. The only other way I could think of was to refit the old one, which is down here. As you can see, it's got a great big hole in it, so it's either try and patch that up somehow and use that until I can actually come across the I'll get a hold of the rubber gaskets. Let's see if you line these up, spaces out the way, that way. You can see that one is so much thicker than that. I'm not sure why they changed that, because these early ones didn't have any gasket at all, they just fit straight on. Obviously changed it for a reason. And then also the top cover that goes on there is the same. That also has rubber seals, although they must fit slightly different way because the spacers for these actually fit flush. There's no protrusion at the back when you fit them in. Ooh. Pick this up, look sideways that is. And yeah, when that goes in there, so it fits flush both sides. And then the bolt and the washer just goes through. The same with that little one there. So I had to make all these spacers because I couldn't get hold of them either. Spacers are easy enough to make, rubber gasket is not. So that's the one thing I'm looking out for. I mean, this one I can put on without rubber gaskets. I could just do a normal paper gasket, would do for that, because it is flush fitting. Or no gasket at all would probably work. Doesn't really need a seal there. So that is the other thing I've got to try and sort out. Once we've found out whether that is leaking still or not. That's probably such a slow leak, it's hard to tell. I'll have to leave it a few days. So we'll have to come back to that one. I've just done a very basic repair on this old sprocket cover, which fits better than the new one. So I can use that to finish building until I can get the correct rubber gaskets for the other one. I might even put a little piece of epoxy in there, plastic metal, just to fill that hole, though probably doesn't really need it, but at least that does fit properly. I'll give that a bit of a clean up in there. And actually, once it's on, do this one end. Once it's on, you can barely see that anyway, unless you really look. So just for temporary, I might just do that. Just mean I'll have to transfer the clutch mechanism from the other one back into this one. But at least that will work okay anyway. Still, I don't know, I think it's still leaking or not. That it's only been sort of half a day. I'll just have to leave that for another couple of days. I've got a new rig on order, so I'll replace that once I get it anyway. So once that's done, little clean up in there, put the clutch mechanism back in, and that will do. Okay. Just change that oil seal, O-ring rather, over. Dried that out in there as best I can. It's quite difficult to get to the back. I think I've got most of the old oil out that was in there, so I should be able to tell if that stopped leaking. Blown a bit of air in just to flush anything out. So we'll give that a few days and see how that looks then. And that is the old O-ring. How well that'll come out. I'll try and take a macro shot. But I think that is fairly flat, so hopefully that will have been the cause of the problem. I've gone ahead and fitted that older damaged, if you can see in there, just riveted a plate across, put a little bit of JB weld in just to seal the muck out. And fitted that until I can get the rubber gaskets for the other one that I've got. Fitted the gear change lever and the foot peg and clutch cable. Oh, and the clutch lever, just give that a little polish as well. That's a little bit worn in there, but that is the original one, so I'd rather keep it if I can. Now, next thing, I'm waiting for a rubber to go in there, which I'm having to get from America, believe it or not. Then the seat can go on. I can get the chain going on. That'll be the next thing. And I've got to finish off doing the side panels. Fortunately, I had a bit of a reaction with the paint on that one for some reason. I'm going to have to rub it right down again. And what's next? Oh yes, got to get front mudguard, front brake light switch, and once I get that I can just wire that in, get the headlight on. And what else have we got to do? Oh, I've got to rebuild the front brake caliper. Need to rebuild kit for that. I've also got a, which I haven't unwrapped yet, even had a look at it, but the next thing I probably will actually video, the front brake master. I've managed to get a second hand one of them, so I've just got to rebuild that as well. Don't know if I've shown the indicators on, can't remember. But they're fitted. They're just pattern ones. Just had to do a little bit of jiggery up the front to get that one. They're a little bit close to the headlight, but I think that'll be alright. Yeah, so it's really coming on now.